This was a train wreck.
I kind of read romance books every week anyway. Oh no. Like, who is this intruder pretending to be me? Hello lovely people, welcome back to my channel, or hello if you're new here. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Today's video is going to be a reading vlog. I'm going to be reading romance books for a week and I am so excited to do this. I mean, I kind of read romance books every week anyway, but this week I'm going to be vlogging it, so it's going to be fun and we're going to get through some books that I have had on my radar for a while. We're gonna read some fun romance books. I've kind of got a few in my head that I want to get to, but I don't want to specify yet. I kind of just want to see where the week takes us, see which books we pick up, and kind of see what romance book I'm feeling in the moment. As always, let me know if you read any of the books in today's video because I would love to know your opinions on them. And also, if you have any romance book recs, please do let me know in the comments as well. I'm always looking to broaden my TBR. This video is in honour of Valentine's Day and this being the week of love. I feel like it's very fitting to do a romance only reading vlog, so that's what we're going to do. I have been really wanting to do a reading dark romance for a week vlog as well, so that is coming. I'm just trying to figure out which dark romance I want to read because I'm just not sure. I don't really know where to start. I feel like I have never read dark romance before, so I don't know where a good starting point would be. But if you're interested in a reading dark romance for a week vlog, then let me know because I am very happy to film that video. And without further ado, let's get into today's video and start reading romance. Okay guys, I've decided that book one is going to be Deep End by Ali Hazelwood because this is my book club's book pick of the month, so I should probably get on with reading it. And also it's fresh on the shelves. I think this came out literally last week and you guys know me, I love Ali Hazelwood, so anytime I can read her new book I'm going to take it, and this is literally a new release. It's very anticipated for me. I'm so excited. If you didn't know, this book is a college romance between a swimmer and a diver, I believe. I think that this is Ali Hazelwood's first college romance. She is just a queen. Like, she literally churns out the books, I feel, and she experiments with literally every genre that she does. She's now got a paranormal romance, a YA romance, lots of STEM. She's got a college romance. I eat them up every time, alright? But yeah, this one is a college romance and I have been hearing a lot of people say that it is the spiciest Ali Hazelwood book to date. So I'm going to be the judge of that, and yeah, a lot of people are saying that they don't like it because it's too spicy, but then some people say that it wasn't that spicy actually. So I'm kind of like, I don't know what to believe right now, but we're going to see for ourselves. So it says Scarlett is a athlete who specialises in platform diving. She prefers to keep her head down. She's recovering from an injury and she's trying to get into med school. She has no time for relationships. And then we have swim captain and Olympian Lucas. He thrives on discipline and he's a record breaker. It says on the surface they have nothing in common until a well-guarded secret slips out and everything changes. And then it says they start an arrangement, and as the pressure leading to the Olympics heats up, so does their relationship. It was supposed to be temporary, a fling, but staying away from Lucas becomes impossible. Oh no. This sounds actually really interesting. I wonder what the secret is. I'm intrigued. I'm definitely gonna get started on this today. It's currently a Sunday, so I have all the time in the world to begin reading. I'm gonna take the afternoon to just get cozy, get a snack, get an iced coffee and cozy up reading this book. So I'll check back in later on when I've got some opinions and some thoughts and feelings. But if you are reading along with me this month on this book club pick, then don't forget to let me know what you're thinking. is just one of them days. It is so dull and grey and gloomy again. It's putting me in a down mood, but I thought we would do a halfway check-in point of Deep End by Ali Hazelwood, the first book for today's vlog. I am really enjoying this book so far. I feel like when it first came out initially last week, there was quite a lot of mixed opinions. Some people were saying they absolutely love it. Some people were like, no, this had no plot, it was all spice, it didn't make sense. So I was kind of like intrigued to see where I stood because I'm a big Ali Hazelwood fan. And I can confirm, so far, so good. I am really enjoying it. It's basically about these two athletes in college. So we've got Lucas, he is he's actually an Olympic swimmer for Sweden. And then we have Scarlett, who is a diver. And these two people, they've kind of like always obviously known each other because they share the same pool and stuff like that. They're on the same like overall swim team, whatever, the dynamics are there. And they've always kind of known of each other, but they've just never really spoken before. And then Scarlett kind of sparks this friendship up with a girl called Penelope. And Penelope has been dating Lucas for years, since they was like 15 years old, and they've always been in this like long-term relationship. They've been like the couple on campus that everyone's like, wow, you guys are amazing. And she sparks up a friendship with Pen, and Pen kind of starts revealing some truths about Lucas, how she's not really happy in her relationship, how she doesn't really have the same interests as Lucas. And Scarlett is kind of like, oh, well, I do have those interests, let me give you a helping hand, maybe we can like help figure this out together, I'll be your friend, I'll talk you through it. And essentially Pen kind of pushes Lucas and Scarlett together because of their shared interests, and they kind of spark up this friendship, I guess. They're also on like science students, so they're kind of working on like a project together, which I will say we do get a little cameo from the characters from The Love Hypothesis, which I ate up. I loved seeing them, but we got a cameo from them. They're actually these guys' professors, so they're now working on this project together, so they're kind of spending a lot more time together. They're, you know, having meetings about the project, they're having friendship dates because they kind of know that they both have this same interest going on, and they're kind of building up a relationship essentially. And you do definitely see that their chemistry and their sort of spark, if you will, is really good. Like I think that these two characters are so perfect for each other, and I love reading about them. And I do find it interesting as well how Scarlett is obviously friends with Lucas's ex, so you've got that aspect going on, and you're kind of seeing how Pen has this vision of Lucas where she's like, he's not very affectionate, he's not very loving, he's very cold, but that's just Pen's sort of viewpoint of him, because they've been together since they was obviously 15 and they kind of trauma bonded, and that is like her perception of him frozen in time. And Scarlett's kind of sat there thinking, actually he's this really loving guy, and he's definitely not like that with me. So she's kind of thinking that, and they're building up this strong connection, and so far it's really good. I also like reading about the sort of diving aspect. I like that it's like a college sports romance as well. I think that's interesting. And not only are we focusing on the romance, but Scarlett has kind of been through it. She had an injury last year, like at the finals of the diving competition, and she's been recovering from that, kind of like with a lot of mental blocks stopping her from diving, and we're seeing her overcome that. We're seeing her sort of get through her own struggles. She had a bad relationship with her dad. She kind of almost got cheated on by her ex-boyfriend, and she's kind of not really got too many friends, so we're seeing her start to build up these strong friendships and overcome sort of all the trauma that's happened in her life, which I do think Ali Hazelwood does such an amazing job of. Not only does she focus on the relationships, she also does, a bit like Love Theoretically, she kind of pulls in on, or hones in on the women's storyline, like the woman's storyline. She always kind of makes it into almost like a little bit of a women's fiction at times. Obviously I know it's not, it's a full-on romance, but you know what I mean. Yeah, so far I'm really enjoying it. I'm gonna sit now for the rest of the day and why did I do that? And I'm gonna finish this book off. I think that this might be up there with one of my favourite Ali Hazelwood books. I'm gonna do like a little ranking at the end when I've finished it. But so far, so good. I'm gonna go now, stop yapping, and finish the book. Everybody, I have chosen the next book for this week's vlog. I am going to be reading The Wrong Bride by Katerina Mora as my next romance book. I am quite frankly ecstatic about reading this book. I am so excited. I feel like as soon as I got recommended this, I was like, I need to pick it up now. I love the cover. I love the general premise of like the series. I love that we've got lots of different couples, and quite frankly I'm just excited to sink my teeth into a new romance series. This one kind of has like a bit of a strange plot, to be honest, and I don't know how I feel. Like I could like it, I might not. It's a bit of an out there plot, and I'm kind of like, ooh, maybe I'll like it, maybe I won't. If it's done right, then I will, but there's a lot of potential for this to go wrong. Basically, this book is about a situation where this guy was meant to get married. It's the day of the wedding and the bride doesn't show up. So because I think it was like a forced marriage, like an arranged marriage, someone has to marry him, like someone's gonna do it. And it ends up, and our female main character Raven has no choice but to kind of fill in for her sister and essentially marry the guy that her sister was meant to marry. Like, this sounds chaotic, this sounds messy, and I'm here for it. So the guy's called Aris Windsor. I think that's how you pronounce his name. This series, I guess, follows like the Windsor siblings, I'm gonna assume. I think there's like 5 books. It says he's an elusive billionaire media mogul. Wow. And she has always loved him, but he has always had eyes on her sister. Okay, this is so messy. So now she's married to him and she's determined to win him over. I'm assuming that he is kind of really sad that her sister didn't show up. And it says, after all, everything is fair in love and war, and this is war. This sounds so messy. Like, I'm not actually sure about this premise. I feel like this could be, it's gonna be entertaining, but I don't know if I'll like it. Cause surely you can't go after your sister's mans. Like, that's sister code. Even if your sister stood up a man at the altar, you can't marry him. You can't. I'm stressed already. But I feel like I am in the mood for like an entertaining romance book that's not too serious, that's kind of just fun and a wild ride. That's what I'm feeling right now. I also love that this book has like the chapter art. I think that's so pretty. I've seen that a few people recently have read this book and rated it quite low. However, they do rate the second book in the series very high, so I'm like, maybe I'll be the same as them, but I'm not going to go into it thinking that. I'm just kind of going to go in, form my own opinions, and hopefully I will enjoy it. Above all, I love the cover and I love how floppy it is. Like, this is how all books should be. Everyone take notes. But I'm going to go now. It's rainy again. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna start this book. I'm gonna get some snacks, a sweet treat perhaps, get cozy, and probably binge this, I'm not gonna lie. Good evening everyone. It is a lot later now. I have been doing some reading. I'm this much of the way in. So I'm like 100 pages in, and let me tell you, we have a lot to unpack in this much pages. Like, a lot has happened in such a short amount of time that I'm just like, whoa, I need to get all my thoughts out, because I feel like this is a really chaotic book. But it's very entertaining. I'm very unsure on how I feel about it, because on the one hand I am entertained, and I'm not like checking like how long I've been reading for or anything like that. I'm just like flicking the page because it's so fast paced and entertaining, and it's giving me that that factor, and I don't want to put it down. However, the actual premise, I don't know how I feel. Like, I'm having a good time reading it and it's keeping me entertained, but do I like the plot or the characters? I'm not sure. I don't think I do at the moment. I think that it's definitely an interesting concept, an interesting storyline, and I'm kind of confused in a lot of ways, because for me, like, the whole marrying your sister's ex-fiance is just, I can't get on board with that. It's just wrong to me. Like, the way in which their relationship has started, to me, is just not a great place to start. However, it's an entertaining book, and the writing style is definitely like fast-paced and really easy to get into. I did expect it to like literally start off on page 1 with them at the altar and like the bride not showing up and her just being like, I'll take her place. That's what I expected. That's not what happens. It kind of like introduces the characters first. You kind of see all this like stuff happening. You see that his relationship with her sister is not all it seems to be. Like, it's not a great relationship, and they kind of clearly have a lot of differences, and they clearly aren't really like each other's people, but they've just been sort of, they've kind of fallen into this relationship, and I think that they don't actually love each other, but they've just kind of claimed that over time. However, you see that, and you see that our female main character has kind of had this dying love for him for years, since they was like kids. So she's always loved him, but then he chose her sister. Another thing that kind of confuses me is why every sibling in the Windsor family has to get married. Not that they have to get married, but why do they have to have an arranged marriage? Like, why? Why can they not just choose their own partners? I'm not sure. And it keeps referring to they don't have parents, they have their grandma, who is kind of like both their mum and dad, because their parents passed away, and she basically chooses them their partner from like early on, and she's like, this is who I've chosen for you, you're getting married to them, done deal. And I'm like, but why must the grandma choose their partners? I think it's more from like an alliance standpoint. I think like the grandma wants to make powerful alliances with the families, but then it just kind of like confuses me, because she seems like such a lovely, nice woman, and then I feel like it's not within her personality to then be such a dictator in who they marry, just out of a business gain. I don't know. I'm not liking that. I don't really get it, and it seems a little bit silly, like rich people drama, I guess. But so far, I mean, I don't know. And the way that the main male guy has kind of talked about the female main character is a bit inappropriate to say that he was initially engaged to her sister. I'm like, you shouldn't really be thinking these, you definitely shouldn't be thinking these thoughts. It's a bit like, it's a bit icky, is what I think. And I'm kind of struggling to get my head around their romance at the moment. I mean, I'm 100 pages in, so maybe the plot will thicken and we'll see why this has all happened further down the line. But as of right now, I would say this is getting points on the fact that it's really fast paced and really entertaining to read. It kind of feels like I'm watching like a really chaotic rom-com or something like that. It's reminded me of like 27 Dresses, in the way of she's always been in love with her sister's fiance. It's not really anything like that film at all, other than that factor. But yeah, it's so far definitely a unique and interesting romance. Nothing like I've ever read before, and I have been literally like, at some points, some of the things that they say, I'm like, let me just take a moment to digest that. So I think I'm going to do some more reading, kind of get further into it, and then I'll update you with my thoughts and feelings when I've read some more. But at the moment I'm kind of confused, but kind of loving it, but kind of hating it. I don't know what's going on. Happy Valentine's Day. This was a train wreck. I have officially finished this interesting book, and I fear I do not know what to think of this because it was kind of a train wreck. It was honestly a complete and utter wild ride, and I was the whole time couldn't look away, but at the same time it was like, what is going on? What am I reading? I'm gonna rate it a 2.5 stars, I think. But it's a weird one because it's not a 2.5 stars that I think it was like a super bad book and that I would like wouldn't recommend that. It was horrible, because it definitely wasn't. It was more of like a 2.5 stars that was just kind of like entertaining, couldn't look away, and I was definitely like entertained the whole time, but I just disagree with the story and I didn't really like the characters and I didn't really like a lot of the scenes in it, and I just feel like it doesn't deserve, in my eyes, more than 2.5 stars. However, I have ordered the second book already, and I am gonna read that one immediately as that one arrives, because I have been informed that the second book is a lot better than book one. So I'm gonna have to give that one a go. And also, the entire series is being traditionally published, and I have an indie published book one, so I'm trying to scramble to get all of the, I think there's six books before they get traditionally published, so that they all match. They're like floppy and they're really pretty, and I feel like the traditionally published ones might not be as pretty or convenient. This was a wild ride. It was chaotic. It was honestly a mess a lot of the time, and I couldn't look away. I couldn't look away. I think that the way it was written definitely was a bit messy, and I do think that it could do with quite a lot of editing. I think that it was quite a flawed story, and also the male main character was really grating on me. He was really annoying, and he was honestly my nightmare of a man. He was trying to be this hero 24/7, and his morals and his opinions and his thoughts just changed like that. So they just definitely, I didn't trust him, I didn't agree with him, and I just feel like he was annoying. He needs to go away. As the story kind of goes on, you do see that the first relationship between the first sister and him is very flawed. They don't get along, they're not very compatible, and to be honest, like, you don't really feel bad for the sister, honestly. Like, you just think, oh, she's a horrible person. However, I do think that at the same time, you can't go there. I definitely preferred Raven, the female main character, to Aris, the male main character, because Raven kind of had a bit more to her. She kind of had like this backstory that was quite sad, and you kind of felt for her a little bit. But then Aris just had no personality. He had nothing going for him other than being annoying. And I think that, like, did they even have chemistry? I don't even think they had chemistry. They had nothing in common, and they just seemed to be thrown together for the sake of the plot. I don't think that they. I just I And I do feel like as well, he kind of just all of a sudden went from 0 to 100 and started being obsessed with her. Like, that doesn't really make sense to me. It felt very cringe at times. It felt very cringe. But I like a cringe book. That's why I read the whole thing and couldn't put it down. I feel like I read it really quickly, and I feel like it's kind of made me want to read the other books. I think I only really want to read the other books because I've been told that book two is really, really good. So I do want to get to book two because it kind of like gives you a hint of what book two is going to be about. And I feel like that trope and that whole story is going to be really entertaining. I think that the idea of the like Windsor family and how like they're billionaires, they own so much of
different companies and different sectors of the industries. I think that is fun to read about, kind of, because they're just this like really rich, powerful family, and like really everyone kind of knows them. They're like royalty. I have a sneaky suspicion this is going to be my least favourite in the series. However, I do tend to not enjoy the first books as much as the others. So I always just feel like they're not as good. I feel like you enjoy the others more because you kind of like being with the characters a lot more. So that's also something to consider, because I feel like as they go on, I could potentially end up really, really rating a lot of the books highly and enjoying them a lot more. But if you're looking for something that's really quick, really snappy, really bingeable, then I would recommend this, because you can't put it down. It's literally a car crash of a book, and you can't look away. It's like, what is happening? What am I reading? This is really cringe, but I'm having a fun time. So I think that the writing style and the bingeability would actually be probably higher than 2.5 stars, but just the overall story and how it was put together and the characters, and when I actually think about it, it's a 2.5 stars, but not a bad 2.5 stars, because I am going to be reading the rest of the series, but just like a 2.5 stars, like cringe, like not really my favourite characters. I think these two are going to be my least favourite couple in the whole series. Don't quote me on that. I think that might be the case, because at the moment, I didn't think that they really matched. I didn't think that they had much chemistry. And I feel like they was just put together because of some kind of like teenage infatuation that she had with him that kind of never left, because she never got him or whatever. I don't know. And I feel like he just switched up real fast, because he was like, well, I can't have my other, like the other girl I was meant to marry. Might as well sell for this one. But there is a lot of drama. So if you want in a book that's drama, it feels kind of like a reality TV show or like a cringy film, then here you go. This is the one for you. So that is the second book finished for today's video. I am going to pick up something a lot different. I need something that's not as cringe now. I think I need kind of like a romance that's a bit more, I don't know, maybe like still cringe, but just not as cringe as that one, like not as far fetched. I think I need something that's a bit more like maybe cutesy rom-com vibes, maybe a bit of like a deeper plot. That's kind of what I'm feeling. So I'm gonna go away, have a think about what I'm gonna pick up, and then I will update you when I have more information. But this wasn't a bad review. It kind of sounded like it, kind of sounded harsh, but it wasn't, because I'm gonna pick up the rest of the series and I did still have a good time. It's just that I think that the plot just wasn't for me, and that's fine.
It's update time. I have started the third and final book for today's video. If you can see my Waterstones tag in the back, it's because I've just been to Waterstones and have picked up some books. They're going to be featured in my birthday book haul. But moving on, I have started the third and final book, which is called Between Friends and Lovers by Shirlene Abobi. This one is one that I found on the Kindle 99p deals section, so if you're watching this vlog in February, then maybe go check that out, because this is 99p, so if you feel like this book sounds like a bit of you, then 99p, such a bargain. I honestly didn't really know what book to pick up because I haven't been home, so I don't have any of my books with me. The only book I had with me was Onyx Storm, so I kind of had to pick one on my Kindle because Onyx Storm is not really the vibe for this video. However, I'm really glad that I've picked this one up. I wanted to try a book from an author I've never tried before, and so far I'm really enjoying it. This one, compared to the last one, is very much more feeling like a real romance. It's kind of focusing on the characters and their struggles. It feels like we're focusing on and following real people. These people feel like they are everyday people. They've got everyday struggles, everyday life problems. Compared to the last one, which was a bit more far-fetched and a bit more silly and a bit more rich people drama, this one's more like, it feels a bit more, I don't want to say relatable, but more like real life. And so far I'm really enjoying it, because that was exactly what I was craving. I was not craving like a silly romance again. I was feeling like a more, I don't know the word, but like just a more not silly, romance. This one is a love triangle one, but don't let that put you off because it doesn't really read too much like a traditional love triangle story. We are following our main female character. She is this super confident, super headstrong woman, and she has kind of had this unrequited love on her best friend for years. They've been best friends since high school or college or whatever, and now they're now they're a little bit older, but she's been in love with him basically this whole time and he's not reciprocated. However, she does have a really great friendship with him. She's got a great friendship with his family and his mum. She has a room in his house and she just loves this guy and he doesn't reciprocate. And then she tells him one day that she does love him. I mean, I feel like he knew the whole time but was just ignoring it. He is kind of like led her on in a way, not gonna lie. And she tells him, he kind of runs off, and then she meets our second main character guy called Malcolm, and he's this really sweet guy. He meets her at her best friend's birthday party, because he is trying to secure a film deal for his book with her best friend's mum, if you follow. So they bump into each other there, and from then on they kind of spark this friendship and they spark this relationship in a way. They've both got this like chemistry together, but they're kind of just, she's never loved anyone else and he's come out of quite a long-term toxic relationship, so they're kind of just learning to be around each other and have this friendship, and they're learning to understand each other. And I think so far that's what I'm really liking, because it feels like our characters are really putting in the effort and the extra mile to actually know each other before they start the full-on romance, which is always nice, because the last book I read was quite like full force straight in for the romance, and this one feels like we're building up that nice friendship first, and these characters feel very real. He treats her really well, and she's kind of got these barriers up about it because of how she's been sort of treated over the years by her best friend, and she's got this unrequited love going with him. But we're seeing this guy Malcolm take really good care of her and really treat her as an equal and kind of treat her how she should have been treated all along. But then at the moment I feel like we're gonna get some third act conflict between the love triangle section at the end, because currently things seem to be going quite smooth sailing. Our main female character is also a really headstrong woman. She's a really confident woman. I love to see that. She is very secure in herself, and I think that it's really interesting to see a woman who is super secure in herself enter a relationship with a guy for the first time, because she's kind of like, these are my boundaries, this is what I want, this, and the guy's kind of like, okay, refreshing, like, and the communication is really well done, I think, and I think that they're both really sweet together. They kind of complement each other in a really great way. It's quite like sort of shy and sweet, a bit awkward, and she's very like confident and bold, and she knows what she wants, and I think so far it's really entertaining to read. I really like the writing style because it feels very sort of real compared to the last one. It's not cringe at all, and it's definitely making me want to find out what's going to happen. I think in a way it's kind of focusing more on our female main character rather than the romance itself, and I do enjoy that because it's kind of more like a women's fiction vibe in some aspects. Feels a little bit like the Emily Henry vibe, where we focus on the female main character a lot and then the romance is kind of like a subplot. So compared to the last one, this is definitely what I needed. I needed like a book that felt a bit more real, and if you're not a fan of love triangle, so far it's not really focused too much on the love triangle. It's not like we've got these two men going after this one woman. It's kind of just like more intermingled love feelings everywhere, like that kind of thing. It's not like stressful, if you know what I mean. But so far I am really enjoying it. I think it's shaping up to be like a 4-star or 4.5 star, so pretty high up, and I definitely would read more books from this author. I think it's a really refreshing romance book. I love the writing style. Ali Hazelwood has a little blurb on the front. It says, "Sweet and steamy. I recommend this book for eternity." And I love Ali Hazelwood, so I'd love to see that. And yeah, I think I am up to page 200, so I've got about 150 pages left, which I'm going to finish over the weekend and give my final thoughts and feelings on it. But if you are looking for a book to read, this one's 99p on Amazon at the moment for the Kindle, so I feel like that's a great deal. And I love trying out new books from different authors. I'm really enjoying it. I also want to introduce everyone to my new jelly cat, Cynthia. I feel like this jelly cat looks like my dog Cindy, hence why she's called Cynthia, because she is a what's the word, a tribute to Cindy, and this is the winter version, but I think you can get a Valentine's one with like a rose in its mouth. I think it's just the cutest thing ever, and Cindy is gonna hate it because she's gonna be like, who is this intruder pretending to be me? But that is all from me for now. I'm gonna go and finish this book over the weekend, and then I'm gonna check in with my final thoughts and feelings of when I've rated this book. But I also really like the cover. I would like to actually get my hands on the physical copy because I really am enjoying it, and I feel like for the books that I really enjoy, I do like to have like a shrine towards them, a bit of a reward. I have finished Between Friends and Lovers, and I'm gonna rate it a solid 4 stars. I feel like it definitely deserves a 4-star because it was a really, really emotional and beautiful story, and I think that it didn't deserve any lower, but in my opinion it just wasn't quite that 5-star level, but I did really enjoy it. I also should have mentioned in the last clip that the story is between the main male character. He is a romantasy writer, and the main female character is a influencer, but she is I think she posts like doctor influencer videos, like explain, because she's a doctor, so I think she posts like videos explaining certain things and how to overcome them and things like that. So that's a pretty interesting dynamic. They've both got pretty interesting jobs, and I think that the way that it wrapped up was really beautiful. It ended up wrapping up very kind of emotional in some ways, but also kind of messy. It was kind of like a messy situation towards the end. Social media was involved. It kind of also showed you the dark side of social media and how lots of people just jump on into like the hate train, and they're like, let's all hate on this person, we don't even know anything about the situation, but we're just gonna hate on the people. And it kind of showed like the side of how it affects the person involved, the person being hated on sometimes, and it focused a little bit on depression. And I think that it got really messy at one point, but then the way that it was wrapped up was so beautiful, and it kind of really put into perspective how different things can make people feel. So I am glad that I picked this one up because it was definitely a different change of pace from the one I read before, and I think it's good to have like a variety of different stories and different sort of perspectives, different sort of angles within romance. I feel like we've had really great books this video. We had Deep End, which was the first book, and that was 4.75 stars, nearly a 5-star. And then we had I keep forgetting the name of this one, The Wrong Wife, I believe, by Katerina Mora, the first book in the Windsor series. That one was a 2.5 stars, but it wasn't a bad book. It was just that the story and the writing style just maybe wasn't for me, but I think it was still entertaining and I didn't want to put it down, and I still had a great time reading it. And then we read Between Friends and Lovers, which I rated a 4 stars, and I feel like this one is a great book if you're looking for a romance story that's a little bit deeper, got a little bit more behind it. It's not just 2 characters falling in love, it's kind of a bit messy, it feels a bit more real, the characters have a bit more backstory, and you kind of focus on them as people as well. And I really enjoyed that, I had a great time. So I have read some really great books in today's video. I feel like I have had a great time reading romance. It's not too different to what I normally read anyway, because I kind of do tend to read romance strictly all day, every day. So it's not too different, but I still had a great time nonetheless, and I definitely want to do some different videos focusing on specific genres, maybe fantasy, dark romance, maybe I have done a thriller one before, maybe literary fiction, we'll see, whatever subgenres I might fancy. I feel like these videos are really fun, and you do end up exploring different sides of one genre, which is always very interesting. I think definitely my favourite book was Deep End. I really enjoyed that. It's quite sad that my clip ended up getting deleted, not sure what happened there, but it was still a great book. So thank you so much for watching today's video. I am so happy that you made it to this point. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. I hope to see you in the next one. Let me know, as always, if you've read any of these books, if you agree, disagree with my opinions, and if you also have any recommendations that I can add to my TBR. So thank you so much for watching again, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.